to my live stream, don't say maybe. It never ends till you go crazy.
I found a way to run my old computers with no hard drive. Here it is.
I'm just a streaming dirtbag, baby. Come to my live stream, don't say maybe. It never ends till you go crazy. Thank you, Uncle Remus. Thank you, Wesley. And thank you, everybody who came. Now that's a franchise I'd watch.
I think you know why you are here. There's a part of you that the normies fear. Know the truth is what you see. So we welcome you to the home of geeks. Of the oddball, the neglected, the outcast, the rejected. We're all here to celebrate. Anti-track away. There's no fear, into the study, every nerd has a voice to be heard. 'Cause here everyone's up, there's no need to be a pack lad. We've done away with all the hatred. Every show you love is here. Kick back, grab a beer. There's plenty of discussion, no agenda that we're pushing. We're ready to celebrate. Anti-track rain, be rebels in the wonders and the strange. Whatever we are here, we see clear, there's no fear. Into the study, every nerd has a voice to be heard. 'Cause here everyone's a turd. We are a sci-fi menagerie. We've got every alien from A to Z. This is where you want to be. We're the greatest channel in the galaxy. Anti-track away. Rebels in the wonders and the strange. Whatever we are here, we see clear, there's no fear. Into the study, every nerd has a voice to be heard. 'Cause here everyone's a turd. A turd. Oh yeah.
Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the Trekkies know your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Death to Candor!
Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker here, and just finished watching Picard Episode 4, Total Candor. Now, as you can see, paused right here, is what I think is one of the best shots from the episode. I want to say right off the bat, and I know Thomas commented in the chat already about this, but it's absolutely true. I seriously considered calling this live stream Suck on It, Darren Wagner. That is officially a Romulan bird of prey. No more of this nonsense about the Klingons being the only people with birds of prey. And Laughable Larry put in a couple of bucks here, and of course, I can't see it, so let me get that. I should have set up my dashboard, but I didn't because I honestly was not smart enough to think somebody might actually donate because, you know, silly me. Alright, almost done loading. Alright, so Laughable Larry put in $5. Thank you so much, Laughable. Is it just me here? Or is the Picard intro theme just awful? I think it's the worst out of all the series so far. I disagree. I think that it's third from the bottom, to be honest with you. It's not my favorite. No, absolutely not. But I would say the absolute worst theme song from Trek is still Enterprise with It's Been a Long Road, or whatever the name of that song is. Second to the bottom is Discovery. That song is just awful. But at least this song, I like the way that the intro song for Picard ends with the little beat from the Star Trek The Next Generation theme. So I can't say, it's definitely not great, but it's not bad. Or not, I wouldn't say not bad, just not the worst. There are definitely, in my opinion, two that are worse than it. Anyway, so yes, very excited about the fact that we officially have ourselves a Romulan bird of prey. No more of this silly nonsense about the Klingon bird of prey being the original bird of prey and all that crap. So thank you. I will give credit where credit is due. All right, so to the chat we go, and I'll talk. Oh, and as far as the episode is concerned, I know followed the chat a little bit, and I get the idea that a lot of you guys hated it. Which is fine. That's certainly, everybody can have their opinions on it. I did not think this was a horrible episode. I really didn't. I liked the battle at the end with the Romulan bird of prey. I thought that was actually cool. I still am not a big fan of the ship, but at least they didn't put it up against a modern warbird or something, which would have been silly. I also like, as you can see from this very shot, and DJ puts in $5. Thank you so much, DJ. I truly do appreciate it. And says, "You stole my viewers, son of a bitch." Oh, here's some money. DJ Odyssey is the best YouTuber ever. And Yosef also puts in a couple of euros. Thank you, Yosef. I truly appreciate that. And Yosef says, "Yosef hologram here. Spoil it for me before I watch it." Well, you already kind of got part of it right there. Call yourself the Yosef hologram, because there is yet another hologram, which we'll get into in a minute. And yes, I am going to talk some spoilers. So if you care about such things, you don't want spoilers, this is not the live stream for you if you haven't watched it yet. Just watch it. It's out now, so watch it. And yes, DJ, I will say this, DJ, you are absolutely the best YouTube furry I personally subscribe to. That's my ringing endorsement. And by the way, how close are you to getting that peacock suit? Just wondering. Anyway, so so I still don't like the ship. I do like However, some of the overall aesthetics, and look at this. This is something we bitched about with Discovery, people. This is one of those things that people need to recognize and give credit when credit is due. They fired phasers at the Romulans, and it looks like freaking phasers. It's not laser bolts like in Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek 2009 and all that. It's freaking phasers. It looks like phasers, okay? And the Romulan ship, I'm sorry, is absolutely beautiful. And so I'm sorry, this, you can't say that this is like the worst looking thing. You know, I know some people will. They'll say, oh my God, they got the pylons the wrong color or something. The ship looks great. And it's recognizable as a Romulan bird of prey. It is clearly not some complete redo like they tried to do with the Klingons in Discovery. So we need to dial it back a little bit and recognize what they actually have accomplished here. As far as the story, you know, a lot of people were kind of wondering who the heck this kid is, the sword-wielding Romulan. Why does he wield a sword? Why does he look so much like Elrod? And I got to say a couple of things on that. First of all, because we were talking about that on Midnight's Edge last night. And as I pointed out during the Midnight's Edge stream, all the pictures they've been circulating on Twitter and stuff, comparing him to Elrod, the color on the picture of the Romulan looked a little off to me. And watching the episode is clear why. Because somebody applied some filters to it to make the color of his outfit look more like Elrod. It was an intentional, I'm sorry, deception to make people think that he was clearly a copy of Elrod. Now, yes, the character's name is very similar, but the character himself is nothing like Elrod from Lord of the Rings. He just happens to have a couple of superficial similarities, and that's it. And by the way, if you're going to try to make a badass-looking Romulan and you give him long hair, guess what? He's going to end up looking like him. All right. But the outfit, while it was a robe type of outfit, it was not the same color as Elrod's outfit. They digitally manipulated it to make it look like it was. And so unless they suddenly change the color of his outfit in the next episode, that's my honest opinion of it. I also really liked Seven of Nine's introduction in this episode. I was caught off guard. I did not think that was going to be Seven of Nine when we met Seven of Nine. And so I'm curious to see where they're going with that now that we've met her and how we've met her. So I actually kind of like that. So there's definitely some good here. I think, now, is it the greatest episode in all of Trek? No, but you know what? I'm going to give this one a solid 7, which, you know, so that it's basically, it helps raise the level of the overall series a little bit because, you know, so far the scores have been 7, 6, 6.5, so a second 7 still has not transcended to what I would call greatness, which is when it hits an 8 to me is when I would call an episode great. Haven't seen greatness yet, but this is the second really solid, good episode in my opinion. So I'm still optimistic about the series. Everybody kept telling me, oh, episode 4, it goes under the toilet. I think episode 4 was honestly close to being the best episode. I mean, I'm kind of torn between this and the first episode, but I would probably put this as probably the best episode so far. Maybe, and episode 5, we'll see. Because I'm sure everybody's going to tell me, oh, it's episode 5 when it goes in the toilet, because that's the way the naysayers are. All right, to the chat we go. Justin was first. Welcome, Justin. Thomas was second. Captain Trek was third. Yosef says we'll be in the next 4 minutes with DJ. Obviously, that was more than 4 minutes ago, so you're here. Thank you. Thomas says a hospitality hologram with about 8 million question marks and a Romulan bird of prey cannon. Yes. And you know what? The hospitality program, at first I was like, seriously, how many holograms does this guy have? We also, of course, in the same episode, get a navigational program that he called Emmett. Why? So I was thinking EMT, but that doesn't make much sense. I don't, you know, so why would you call your emergency? Oh, maybe, no, see, EMT doesn't make sense. I don't know. Why did he call it? Sounded like he called him Emmett. Anyway, but yeah, so this guy works alone, but he's got an entire crew of holograms. I don't have a problem with that. Makes perfect logical sense that holographic technology would have advanced since the day of Voyager. And Josh says, looks like Picard went STD. Disagree. Surf says, can Tilly 2.0 go in a cryopod until she's needed? I don't know who you mean by, or I assume you mean maybe the doctor. You know what? She is definitely not Tilly 2.0. Even though she's not my favorite character on the show, I don't think she's Tilly. And Josh says Picard is doomed to being STD 2.0. So far, Josh, I gotta disagree with you, my friend. I don't see it. Yes, only on a visual effects kind of way. I don't think that the story doesn't feel anything like it's Star Trek Discovery. The characters certainly don't feel like a Star Trek Discovery. For one thing, Picard is not the only fleshed out character in the show. I mean, Rafi, love her or hate her, Rafi is a well fleshed out, well defined character. Ross is, however you say his name, he's an interesting guy. His holograms are all quite interesting. You have this new Romulan character who, according to IMDb, is only in 2 episodes, which if so, that's a shame, because I like him so far. And now you have the introduction of 7-9 and the Doctor. Now, the Doctor, I can never remember her name, is probably the least well-defined character, but even she had a good character moment in this episode. The whole thing about how she used to live with a guy who was into paper books. And I like the way she said that, because it does kind of reiterate the idea that, yes, paper books are considered quaint in the 24th century. And so, and then she said that was her father that she was talking about. I thought that was interesting. So I don't understand why people are saying it's STD 2.0, because quite frankly, in Star Trek Discovery, one of the biggest problems with Discovery is the simple fact that none of the characters have any substance. And even Michael Burnham, who we spend way too much time on, is a 2-dimensional character. Peter says, spoilers! I'll say hi and Trekker and all. Hey. And Cinnabon says hello. Peter says, and see you later, heading out for the morning. All right, Peter. I know you probably already left, but hope that you have a great day. Then there's DJ, son of a bitch, you stole my 7 watchers. Sorry, DJ, it was unintentional. I did not know you were streaming because, quite frankly, I didn't think to look. It's so early in the morning, I didn't think anybody would be. Shomer says, greetings, Ray Trigger and fellow nerds. Hail, Kuroga, wrong answer. Death to Discovery, Picard. Jeez, Josh, you're really getting dark on this. Rambling says, hello, Anti-Trekker and all. Hey, Rambling, how you doing, my pain brother? Captain Trek says hello to Anti-Trekker, which is me. I guess I should have just said hello. Hey. Thomas says, I rewound it to make sure I heard Bird of Prey. Me too, actually. I was like, holy crap, did he just call it he said an antique bird of prey. I actually like the term antique because it makes it sound like we would be referring to, like, if somebody drove up in a Model T car, we'd call it an antique car. I like that. That somehow this warlord guy got his hands on an antique bird of prey. I like that, and so I thought that was well done. And so Bradley thinks the Enterprise theme song would fit Picard. I don't. I really don't. But I do think the theme song could be better. Mike Richards here from Columbus, Ohio. How you doing, my friend? Jay Pez says, woo! 7 finally shows her face. Indeed. And I did like the way, because you could see Picard was as surprised to see 7 of 9 as I was, and I kind of like that. DJ says ship did look great except for the shots where we see lights all over it. Well, see, I knew, stop being a nitpicker. I mean, don't worry, I'll have my nitpicking video about it eventually. But yeah, I understand. Rambling says, DJ and Trigger watches your stream confused. He heard what you thought and went the opposite, just bugging Anti-Trigger. I did not know. I don't know what DJ thought of it. I didn't see any of DJ's stream. Well, as soon as I finished watching the episode, I poured myself a little more coffee and started the stream. So I'm going right in from watching it. And let's see. He seemed almost like Legolas in his fighting skills. Well, except here's the thing, though. They explain it, and that's the problem. And this is where I get I kind of one of the reasons that I get a little annoyed with the way some people react to this kind of stuff. It's one thing if they just introduce him and they say, "Oh, look, he's the most badass fighter of awesomeness," and that's just all that he is. And Now let's move on. It's another thing if they actually spend a good chunk of the episode establishing exactly why he's such a badass, and that Picard actually had a hand in it, and I thought that was well done. Is he kind of like Legolas? Yeah. But, and that's, except that he doesn't have a bow and arrow, he has a sword. However, also, even like people are thinking, why the hell would a Romulan have a sword? Well, they kind of get into that a little bit here, too. They don't explain it overtly. They do leave some to the imagination, but it's obvious that it's because of the poverty on this planet. And yes, poverty. And yes, once again, they say cash, which I thought was interesting. So suck on it, people that think there's no money. But the whole thing with this planet being in absolute abject poverty, and so nobody could have, very few people. One person did. It's very difficult to get your hands on a actual particle weapon, and so most people use bladed weapons. Yeah, okay. Episode good, but Tilly 2.0 is really annoying. I don't call her Tilly 2.0, but whatever. DJ goes 4.5 at best. Okay, well, you just want to be a naysayer. Cinnamon says 7-3. So Cinnamon and DJ both hated it. Well, I wouldn't say hated it. Well, I guess a 3 is pretty bad. 4.5 DJ is at least mediocre. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I'm pretty sure that his Elrod robe was in the dry cleaners. He will pick it up and have it for next week. The problem with that, Shomer, is he's wearing the outfit that's in that picture. It's just not the same color. It was run through some filters. It's a much darker color than what you saw in those wonderful pictures. And the way you could tell, and what I spotted when I was on Midnight's Edge, is the oversaturation of his skin tone. That it looked off to me. And sure enough, I was right about that. How much did CBS pay you? Can you call them for me? I wish CBS would pay me. I would absolutely love that. But obviously they didn't. Hello there! 7, you sure you're not on drugs or drunk to give it a 7? Yes, I'm pretty darn sure, Captain. Or Sci-Fi says, sorry, I saw Captain Trek after you. But, I thought that it was actually, like I said, look at that. I love the fact that we have phasers that look like phasers. That when they bring in the Romulan ship, it looks like a Romulan ship. I think that the introduction of 7 was well handled. I think that the whole thing of... And by the way, it's once again getting into the Picard being the white savior thing, only now they're showing some of the repercussions of that, which I also think is interesting, because most of the time white savior storylines just make the white savior perfect. And in this, Picard has basically caused abject poverty among the Romulans, inadvertently, of course, and he'll blame Starfleet, and I'm sure the show will vindicate him on that blame, but still. All right, let me just a second, because my nose is a little... I realized I was muted when I said that. I'll be right back.
It's my Aussie accent. It's the dingoes. We have to worry about the dingoes and the roos. The dingoes and the roos, they fight. And
yeah, that's definitely Bird of Prey 5 and his Australian accent. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. My nose was starting to run. I wanted to blow my nose real quick, and I didn't want to do that on camera. Indy says, hello, all the emergency part sounds dumb at the... to me, an emergency navigation hologram is everything an emergency. Just say navigation hologram. I tend to agree. I think they're calling, they had the emergency hospitality hologram, and I like the old joke that the hospitality hologram says, there are rarely hospitality emergencies. I also, once again, do not like that this is the second F-bomb in the show, and I will grant at least it wasn't a character who we know shouldn't have used. Took me out for a minute. Like Borg is a freaking society, Borg is not a society and all that, but then it turned out that it was just him trying to get her into the closest thing that he could find to a romantic situation. So I like that. The elf has a sword because of the sister assassins he grew up with. Yes, and it makes sense to me. I don't know why people are hating on it, but whatever. I think Ed Trigger is rating it high because the Romulan bird of prey, so he can rub it into Darren. I will fully admit, Darren, that I do have a certain sense of vindication with that, but at the same time, I did think the Romulan bird of prey looked badass. I mean, look at it on the screen right there. Let me see. I mean, look at that. Look at that ship. That is so freaking awesome right there. That is just beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous right there. And yeah, it's come on. Daniel says, Ed Trigger gave you something cool on Discord and Skype. Kowalski exposed the fandom menace. I saw you sent me that. Although, Daniel, I'm not the enemy of the fandom menace. Some people think I am, but I'm really, really not. So, yes. Tom says, WTF, I just got an ad. That's weird. It was risky business on the board cube. Oh man, the Risa episode's going to be extra creepy. I don't know about the Risa episode, but the next week's was that Risa that they were supposedly at? I thought it was Free Cloud or whatever. And Bird O' Prey says, Bird of Prey, Romulan Bird of Prey. Yes, Bird, absolutely. The Romulan Bird O' Prey is canon. And suck on that, Darren Wagner, if ever you see this. If I see you tomorrow, I'm going to tell you tomorrow. If I see you in Skype, I'm going to tell you in Skype. Suck it. It's a Romulan bird of prey. End of discussion. I am no longer going to call it the Romulan intruder, the Romulan flagship. It's a damn bird of prey. Get over it. But good to see you, Bird. Kapla. And I hope that you enjoyed the episode. But yeah, Bird, if you don't mind, in the chat, just tell me real quick, numeric score if you saw it, and just any quick thoughts. Or if you want, you can Skype in. I'll be more than happy to have you on if you saw it. I think that'd be kind of fun. So if you feel like talking, hit the Skype button, and when it rings, I'll answer it. Nathan says, good morning, Ed Trigger. Where do you think the Romulan fleet is? Did they join the Federation, or are they still guarding the borders? Don't know. That's a great question. We don't know where the Romulan fleet is. Although I gotta say, despite what Admiral Saval said earlier, I do not think there's a snowball's chance in hell that the Romulan fleet has 25,000 warbirds. So, yeah. Sci-Fi Sis says, I think you're high on nostalgia of the Star Trek to give it a 7. Why? Well, I think that, I mean, it's not like I said, 8 is where I say an episode is great. 7 means I think the episode is good. Bird says, but how could Rios' ship not be able to outrun it? Maybe it has upgraded warp engines or something like that. I mean, that would kind of make sense. I mean, it is an antique ship, but that doesn't mean they didn't do a couple of modifications to it. Awesome Goth Meadow intro, love it. Well, yeah, and thank Aberjan for that song. He did a great job. Mako gives it a 9 out of 10. Wait, I thought the Romulan ship was always called a bird of prey. And that, I assume, is bird of prey. Speaking of the devil, is that bird of prey?
It is.
How you doing, my friend?
Kapla, good morning.
And so, let me ask you first, just right off the top, give me like your quick 2-minute review. What do you think?
Okay, they decide to save money by using the same set on the holodeck, so they can film half the shots at the vineyard.
That does explain why the shots we saw in the trailers of 7 looked like they were at the vineyard.
Yes, it does. It explains that. It also, I think it was a cheap move, but I understand it. Hey, let's save some money.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it, even though it seemed a little odd.
Emergency hospitality hologram. It called Mr. Hospitality in the closed captioning.
Is that what it said?
That was hilarious.
I did not watch the closed captioning. I didn't catch that.
Like it's getting to the point that it's funny. Mm-hmm. Emergency hospitality hologram, emergency combat hologram, I guess, who just speaks Spanish.
Well, that's the thing. When I actually did turn the subtitles on for that, and he called him Emmett.
Yeah, Emmett's not really a Spanish name, but
yeah, I didn't understand.
It seemed like Spanish. Now, granted, I'm not the best at languages, but maybe somebody could identify what language that was. I mean, since the guy's Spanish, I would imagine he was Spanish.
So we saved money with the Picard set. We got holograms for all occasions.
Surf Electronics says the science girl is Tilly 2.0. You know what? I think she is. She's hilarious. I know she's not the science girl. I know she has some type of dark, sinister motive somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she brings the comic relief. Although
I thought that her scene with Rios about the paper books was actually a good character moment for her.
That one was the least believable, most cringy to me. I mean, I don't see anybody actually ever going up to somebody and saying that. Although it's clear she has some type of, I don't know what, but I guess she just jumped on a ship and she's like, "Am I part of the crew now?" But anyway, for my initial, then Picard goes on an apology tour. We have warrior nuns, of course, warrior nuns, and then we find out at the end that there's spoilers here, right?
Yeah.
They only bind themselves to lost causes. That must be unfortunate. If it's truly a lost cause, there must not be many that actually succeed. And that bird of prey, of course. I liked it. Honestly, it's not Star Trek, but I really liked it.
See, I do disagree. I think this one felt more Trek to me.
Really?
Yeah, it did.
You could put your sword away while you're being transported.
Well,
It felt like Star Trek.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying it's perfect, but the thing is that most of the changes that we've seen, as far as like the way the transporters work, since you mentioned that, and stuff like that, makes sense. And all the holograms, a hologram for every occasion on this private ship. To me, that feels like natural evolutions in the tech that we've seen. If you have the EMH in the next gen era, and then we're talking 20, 30 years later, why wouldn't you have a hologram to do every menial task on your ship?
I mean, these don't seem like menial tasks.
Well, but that's why they're emergency holograms. So what like think about it. If you're on a small ship like this guy has, and you're taking enemy fire, and all of a sudden your navigator goes plop on the deck and he's dead, if you have an emergency navigational hologram, bam, you're still in the fight.
I'm not against the technology. I just think it's got to a laughable point. Like,
but that's the
literally
problem with
everybody's replaceable by a hologram.
But here's the problem: is that's a core problem. That's something I bitched about before, as far as the technology in Voyager being too advanced. Is that
emergency relief hookergram?
Huh?
No, Yosef put in emergency relief hookergram.
Yes. Well, we know those exist. They're just not going to call them that.
Come on, Anti-Trigger. You got to be with me on the Romulan brother and sister now.
Well, it's still no, because he doesn't seem to be. She seems to be messing with him. I still think that. I still don't get a Game of Thrones vibe. I think that she is messing with the guy.
Well, you never saw those episodes of Game. Oh, you did. You saw the first season.
I saw the first. Yeah, I saw the first season. But I'm just saying, I didn't get the Game of Thrones vibe because I don't think that they're actually doing anything. I just think that she likes to mess with him because she knows that he's sexually aroused by the robot chick. Anyway, but like I said before, and like in Voyager and stuff, the tech in Voyager is so laughably advanced. Why wouldn't you have a hologram for every situation?
Well, to be honest on that question, it seems like the holograms, and this is canon in Voyager, are almost on the verge of starting their own little revolution. Maybe they would have taken back on this hologram thing.
Well, or they just came up with safeguards in the computer programs. Because unlike a synth, a hologram is very manageable. All you got to do is change some code and they're fixed. Even the Doctor on Voyager almost got wiped multiple times.
Yeah.
And so holograms are much, much easier to maintain control over, and you can easily put safeguards in place to prevent them from becoming sentient by not asking the computer to do stupid things like create a hologram that can defeat Data, which was just the dumbest excuse for creating sentient life ever.
It happens.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's
also,
silly.
I remember Data. He had an orange cat named Spot.
Yes. By the way, guys, I'm sorry if I don't get to the chat since I'm talking to Bird. You know, but having a special illustrious guest like the dictator of Karoga, has to supersede the chat a little bit.
Yeah, I got a nice nerdrotic bump yesterday.
Oh, nice. Did he
Yeah.
give you a shout out or something?
He did. He saw my video, and he talked about it during his stream yesterday. I got like 20 new subscribers, maybe more.
Awesome.
It was really cool.
Well, good. Since you're still in Gary's good graces, you should try to get on Friday Night Tights. Since I can't anymore. Since not actually, it's not because Gary's mad at me, just because of my work schedule.
He said he was going to try to talk to you about something at some point.
Oh, I know. He wants to straighten me out about my delusions about the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, I'm not sure the details, but he said he was going to try to get a hold of you.
Yeah. Well, honestly, he and Gary knows this. He has my Twitter. He has Gary is one of the very few people besides you, Bird, that and Mr. Miles. Gary's like the only other YouTuber that has my phone number. So if he wanted to get a hold of me, there ain't nothing stopping him. But anyway, so what's your numeric score for this episode? What will you give it?
I'm definitely going to watch it again. But again, like I was saying, I liked it. I would probably give this an 8.
Okay. So you give it a little, and that's in line with, so far you and I have been mostly agreeing as far as good and bad. I think the only thing was last week I'm trying to remember. Which was
I split the score. I gave an 8.5 as a non-track and a 5.5 as a Star Trek episode.
Which kind of lines up because I'm not doing that, in that I'm not trying to say you shouldn't, but to me it's like, hey, you just have to deal with the fact that it's Star Trek, right? And so you said
people
8,
said just average it to a 7, and
right, and I gave last
easier.
week's a 6.5.
So I'm 1 point nicer than you. Interesting.
Well, more like a half a point, but
DJ, that is a score, like I'd say, just watching it for entertainment. As a Trek score, I don't know, but I don't care at this point. I don't care. It is upsetting to see Captain Picard, Jean-Luc Picard, literally go around the galaxy apologizing. He already saved hundreds of thousands of Romulans, millions perhaps. I mean, this was one colony where he had 250,000 people he saved, and for that none to say you chose to save none because you couldn't save all, and I made the perfect the enemy of the good.
She's right.
No, she's not right. He saved hundreds of thousands.
No,
millions.
she's right. In that, here's what happened: is that Picard, and it's the same thing he did to Rafi. He abandoned everybody 14 years ago, and
yes, he did.
Yeah, and so
and he was kind of a dick to never come back and say hi to the kid. In fact, he was definitely a dick.
Right, he didn't check up on this kid that he was in very large part responsible for. He never checked on Rafi, who he ruined her career. So I think that Picard going on a little bit of an apology tour and all that makes sense, because he absolutely abandoned everybody he cared about. And
I don't know. I also think these Romulans are probably could have. They had a planet. If they're so Jesus Christ, industrious, intuitus, whatever he said he was, then why didn't they just make something good of this planet?
Well, they didn't have the tech.
You build the tech.
Out of what? Dirt?
Hey, Starfleet engineers can turn rocks into replicators.
Yeah, these aren't Starfleet engineers.
Well, they said they're better.
Obviously not. And actually, that's something that I would ask is, wait a minute, why didn't they drop off some industrial replicators for these guys? So
because nobody likes Romulans.
I guess not. But and actually there's some truth to that. And I mean, if you look at the attitude of the CNC, they were very leery about helping the Romulans in the first place. And so that could explain some of it, but it would, the funny thing to me is, and I know you're going to sigh in just a second, but again, this episode reinforces the slave metaphor, because a funny thing is that if you ever watch like old shows where there's like the plantation owner or whatever, and they're always some kind of retired military. You know, Colonel Angus, like if you remember the Saturday Night Live sketch, right? And so here we have the admiral showing up and checking on the freed slaves that are all so grateful to him for liberating them. Only he leaves them basically on the reservation and then says, "Well, screw you."
Yeah, but you're not dead.
Yeah.
He did give them their lives.
Well, there you go. The retired admiral helped him once again because I'm a good man. Now, everybody bow down and give me fellatio. You know, that's...
Captain Trick, what should I show to Mamo Pray?
Hey, there you go. Captain Cat says, Hail Kuroga with a $2 super chat.
Hail Kuroga.
Wait. What's that, Chancellor Martok? What'd you say? Is that death to Kuroga? What? Is that what Chancellor Martok says? Oh yeah, that's right. That's what Chancellor Martok says.
Mamo Pray is actually up. I guess she heard me talking.
Yeah.
Couldn't
And
get
sorry,
back
yeah,
to sleep.
Martok, I think is not playing because I have Skype up on the screen. So sorry about that. But I don't want to hang up on Bird of Prey just so that I can play Martok saying "Death to Kuroga" as much as it's deserved.
I have next week's coming attractions.
That looks a little off to me. If you want to argue that the show's going to jump the shark, I would say that looking at Picard being dressed up like a pirate with an eye patch and Ross with the pimp coat on and all that, yeah.
Free Cloud looks like wow, yeah.
It's Canto Bite.
I think it's no. Canto Bite was a high class place.
Okay, so it's okay. This is what it's the other side of the planet from Canto Bite. This is like the lower class version.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I don't know, New York City, the Village after 3 a.m.
Yeah.
or something in 1970.
Oh, Mr. Miles says it's Quark's new bar. You know what? That would be a great way to get a cameo from Armin Shimmerman if he actually had an establishment there. That would actually be brilliant.
Yeah, we talked about this, I don't know, on a stream a few days ago. I said I would love to see Quark have, either own a space station, because I had hoped Free Cloud would be a space station, not a planet, because it just doesn't sound like a planet. So I'd hoped it was like a Ferengi space station, that's like a pleasure station or something.
Right.
That was also a casino, obviously, and that Quark was the owner, and we just got a Quark cameo.
Yeah, I would love that. Dream Roulette Dream Route here. I thought it was Dream Roulette, but it looks like it's Dreamer. Oh, Dreamer Out Here. There we go. I hate those run together words that people make their usernames out of. Says, what did you think of the millennial speak? Rafi saying in the comm tracking is blowing up, and the preview is that Gerati says killing it, modern day slang. I've talked about this a couple of times before. This is the single biggest flaw of the series, is the fact that it's written in contemporary English. What do you think, Bird?
I guess yes, but it's like that's one of the things I've given up on.
Right. Well, it's one of the, you have to.
I find it funny now.
You have to.
I laughed.
Yeah, you have to accept it. If you're going to watch the show, you're going to have to accept the fact that yes, they're speaking in contemporary English, but I don't like it.
Honestly, at this point, I kind of find it humorous. I do like it.
Well, there you go.
I don't like it again.
Bird of Prey likes the F-bombs. He likes
why I wouldn't call it Star Trek, but I do find it as an entertaining show.
So you heard it right here. Bird of Prey likes the F-bombs on Star Trek.
That is not what I said. And DJ Odyssey, I will certainly watch your 12-minute review because Anti-Trekker stole all your viewers.
I didn't mean
Son
to
of a
steal.
bitch.
I did not mean to steal DJ's viewers. It was honestly, I didn't think anybody would be streaming except for maybe Gary, and I didn't think Gary would care about me streaming because, of course, he'll have 2,000 people watching his live stream.
It's 1,381.
Oh, is that what he's got right now?
Yeah.
No, kind of a sluggish night for him. Poor guy. He's slumming it.
Well, it's hard. It's not a lot of people up at 4 a.m. Eastern.
Well, there are in Europe.
Yeah, but his audience is mostly American, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that actually I'm kind of surprised. I know that some, it's funny because I keep hearing people in the Phantom Menace say, "I'm not going to get up and watch it anymore," and then they do. But that's just it. Nathan says, I could see Quark opening franchises of his bar with Ferengi that don't like how Rom was running things. I could see that too. A bird turd live stream. Will the internet implode? I certainly hope not. Sounds like Bird's like running a restaurant right now.
It's Mom O'Prey making coffee.
Well, say hi to Mom O'Prey for me.
We also, everybody's saying hello to you, Mom O'Prey.
Good morning, everyone, or good night for the ones.
Yeah.
Did she watch Picard?
She only saw the last couple minutes. We'll have to rewatch it later.
Okay. Just wondering what she thought. DJ says, the only thing I liked was showing a TOS Romulan bird of prey. Well, I do think... Now, you tell me, what did you think of that bird of prey?
I thought it was... Okay. The entire space scene had Trek canon issues.
What's that?
Yeah, I liked seeing the bird of prey.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it looks like it's already been destroyed. Although they just cut off the wing, so maybe we'll see it back with it welded back on.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Why
oh
is
my
that
god, I completely forgot the scene where, what's it, Elnor cuts the head off the guy?
Yeah.
We got a good decapitation scene.
Oh, it sounds like you enjoyed that.
You know we're watching Kurtzman Trek.
So-
Wouldn't be without one decapitation.
So Bird likes
For
decapitations and
series.
F-bombs, confirmed.
But the bird of prey, I mean, yeah, they called. Oh, they admit it's antique,
Yes.
but it's warped in. It warped in.
Why wouldn't it?
Well, there was debate whether it had warp engines at all.
Well, I still think that, like, I'm sure you saw my video on it. I'm convinced that they had warp engines, but they were low warp.
So Scotty was wrong.
No,
Well, he said simple impulse.
for their power systems, he said. And so my thought on that is that when they scanned the ship, there was no sign of a matter-antimatter reactor that was using simple fusion reactors, which is what they use for impulse drive. But it actually, and you can create a warp field with fusion reactors, just not as good a one as you can with a matter-antimatter reactor. Now, you'll notice like there's a couple of changes to this particular bird of prey. The overall structure of it is identical to the original, but if you notice the pylons, and you can see I have it on the screen right now, the glowing Bizarre collectors on the front of the pylons clearly look different. As far as, they didn't glow like that in the original. I think that this thing has been modified to have a modern reactor on it so that it has more power than the classic bird of prey. It also seems to have disruptors, not a plasma weapon. So this
plasma weapon would not have been good in this situation.
Right. But even so, even with the what I think are some modernizations of the ship, its targeting systems are antiquated. It's not particularly maneuverable. It is an antique ship.
Yeah, I guess they couldn't update the targeting systems. They could only update everything else.
Well, they didn't update its maneuverability either.
Yeah, I'm just seeing you expand the ship now.
Okay.
I wish we'd seen more. And then, of course, when that ship came in, I kind of knew it was 7 and 9. I don't know how, but I knew.
I did.
Now, as soon as they started saying him, oh, he's good. It's a good pilot.
I actually did think, it's going to be a she. But I
was
did
like, this is probably how 7 of 9. Once I saw that they used his vineyard as a hologram, I was like, okay, so 7 of 9 actually comes aboard this ship, because we saw in the preview she was on the vineyard. So I was like, okay, so now it makes sense that we're going to see 7 of 9. When she does, you're going to see her on this ship. And once I had that in my mind, I was like, now we just need to get 7 here, And then we have a ship that comes out of nowhere, and it even says, "Oh, perfect timing."
Right.
Perfect timing. How did she know to be there? God only knows. I guess the comm traffic, but so Rafi was hacking the Romulan comm traffic. Seven shows up and like, "Oh, you owe me a ship."
Yeah. Mr. Miles says, I would imagine the bird of prey is at least somewhat retrofitted. I agree. The ship for Downs of Terror might not have had warp because the weapon took all the power. That's also a possibility, but I do think that the power systems on the Romulan ships were inferior until the next gen era. Dreamer out there says the bird of prey also had glowing bits on the back of the pylons. Very true, and yeah, so I think the ship was definitely improved in some way. Why do Vulcans?
I think it's just for. I mean, this is the type of changes that I don't care about.
Right.
In that's just because we had a 1960s TV model that was smashed to pieces and had to be replaced with CGI anyway.
Right. And then Indy asked the question that everybody keeps asking over and over ad nauseum: why do Vulcans with inner eyelids for their harsh sunlight need sunglasses?
Michael Chabon answered that question in his Instagram.
Well, no, he didn't. He was coy about it.
He said, "Then what can we logically infer?"
Well,
he went on to say that she isn't it logical that she read books on police tactics.
Well, it would also be logical that she's from the mirror universe. You could logically infer that.
Kind of a giveaway if you've got to wear sunglasses.
Well,
if that's really it, that would be a really big giveaway.
If she walked around with a futuristic eye drop machine like Lorca did, then that would be too obvious.
And the sunglasses aren't. Nobody asks why are the only.
Sure, everybody like even Indy just now.
Sunglasses.
Right now, Indy just asked, "Why does a Vulcan need sunglasses?" Everybody's just assuming, and you're assuming she's a Vulcan. Maybe she's
even if she was Romulan, she should have the same eyelid.
No, but what if she's a Romulan from the mirror universe?
She should still have the same basic anatomy.
Except the people from the mirror universe are sensitive to sunlight because reasons.
Except women, apparently.
Well, except for human women. I mean, I think the whole mirror universe thing.
But Asian, she's Asian Vulcan.
Right. So all she needs to do is be a Muslim born in the USSR, and she's a perfect woman, right?
Speaking of the most diverse Romulans we've ever seen.
Yeah, that's true. But I didn't have a problem with that.
I figured you wouldn't. I mean, it
wow.
just seems something very
that
2020.
has some undertones to it.
No, it's just very 2020. We have to see Romulans of every race and shade.
Right.
Even though in the past they've all been green.
Well, here's the thing. It's just like did you have a problem with Tuvok?
No, I didn't have a problem with Tuvok. I thought it was interesting at first, like, oh, a black Vulcan, but okay,
right.
Fine.
But that's my. I would assume that Romulans, like Vulcans, come in various ethnicities, and we just happen to have not seen them until now because.
Would you see if you saw a purple Andorian? Would that
wouldn't bother me either.
Wouldn't bother you?
But we've only seen 2 colors of Andorians thus far, and
well, it depends if you count TNG.
Did they show another color of Andorian?
Green.
I forgot about that. Okay, so 3.
Well, when Data's daughter was deciding what she wanted to be, what gender and what species, there was a green, and they called a green-looking Andorian, and they said Andorian female. You'd be the only one on board.
All right, I forgot about that. But so we've seen 3 colors of Andorians then. And
white, blue, and green.
Yeah.
Like the Italian flag.
So Andorians are Italians. That's what you're saying.
I think so. I think that's the message.
So you should probably change your
pizza,
username then to Andorian of Prey. And start gluing antenna to your forehead.
It's probably easier than the ridges. I like the Andorians in Enterprise.
I actually did too. I think Shran was actually a really cool character.
I think we need to see more Andorians.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to see him until Discovery Season 3.
Yeah. The opera music was the same as Star Trek Discovery, the Science Girl listened to. Okay. Did they play?
Oh
opera?
yeah, what was with that? Because that was one big inconsistency, where Girardi was like, I was gonna do a holo novel, but all you have is Klingon opera, and Rios is like, long story. Yet like 10 seconds later, Picard is in the holodeck, and there's a hospitality hologram
Well, maybe
helping
she's
him
too
create.
Either she's too stupid to use the hologram, the hospitality hologram, or Picard has been hogging it the whole time. Because he's an old man that just doesn't think about other people. So it is canonical that Kirk was ridden like a horse by a dwarf. If Kurtzman made a dwarf ride Picard like a horse, would you like it? Not necessarily. It would depend on the context. The Romulan chick, the guy's sister, was hot as F, says Mercer, with a $2 super chat.
She was pretty hot.
Yeah, Bert, say that again, Bird. The way you said that just sounded so dirty.
She was pretty hot.
See, it didn't sound dirty that time. The first time you sounded like
She was pretty hot.
That's better. Yeah, you have this great way of sounding like you're about to commit some kind of awful crime.
Oh, and Yosef reminded me I got the colors for the Italian flag wrong.
Oh, of course.
Terrible Italian.
And you were Italian. Wow. Ozzy says, "Hey, how you doing? Do Orions come more than just green? Not that we've seen so far, right? We haven't seen an Orion that wasn't just that same shade of green, right?
No, Orions are only green.
Daniel says 7 of 9 is yummy. Nathan says, I had a problem with Tuvok not having pointed ears in the film Undiscovered Country, but had them in Voyager episodes, so it was continuity error for Voyager. Well, that was because that, obviously the actor that played Tuvok, I'm forgetting his name now.
Tim Russ.
Thank you, Tim Russ. He wasn't a Vulcan character in Undiscovered Country. He was just an extra, and then he happened to get cast as Tuvok, so they retconned that was Tuvok. I mean, that's really all it was.
I always figured that it would be logical if Vulcans rounded their ears when serving on mostly human starships, because it would make them stick out less, and it would be logical that they would want to fit in with the crew better.
So Surf says, when Commodore O had on sunglasses, opera music, same used in Star Trek Discovery, Science Girl listened on headphones. Hint to Mirrorverse. I don't think we're going to get anything from the Mirror Universe. I mean, I've been joking about O being from the Mirror Universe, but I honestly don't think we're going to get anything from the Mirror Universe. Because I don't think that the Mirror Universe subplot in Discovery was well received.
I'm kind of afraid we might get Mirror Universe, because it seems like they are throwing every single thing into this series. The Borg, we didn't get Section 31 yet, but the Borg, the Romulans.
See, Section 31 I could buy,
data, synths, holograms. I mean, 7 of 9.
Well, we haven't seen Neelix yet.
Oh, yeah, we haven't. I mean, Neelix should still be in the Delta Quadrant, but you never know.
What would be hilarious is if we find out that Neelix and Tuvok are now married.
That would not be hilarious. Now, what would be hilarious is if we found out Neelix was the gangster controlling all of Romulan space.
That would be good.
It's like, Janeway left me to die.
So, Phantom of Many Topics puts in a $2 super chat, says, Episode 4 equals D&D Elf meets Jason of Star Command. Neat. Now, do you actually... Now, I actually get that reference. Did you ever see Jason of Star Command?
Nope.
Yeah, I figure it was before your time. So, Jason of Star Command was a really cheesy old show. But it was actually, I thought, for its day, it was really cool. It was a Saturday morning kids show, live action show. Star Command was a base on an asteroid, and Jason, of course, was the main character, hence the name of the show, Jason of Star Command.
Cool.
Mercy says it was funny to see 7 of 9 fall to the ground. What?
Why is that funny? I didn't think it was funny. I mean, I just thought it was overly dramatic. She did just come off an exploding ship, so...
Right, I mean...
The fact she had any moments of consciousness was kind of amazing.
And and that was,
Convenient.
you want to talk about Star Trek tropes. How about the Star Trek trope of we see the ship explode before they beam on? How
Yeah,
many?
well, obviously she was in the buffer.
Except that it seemed like if you look at the way that it was edited, it really felt like they started the transportation after the ship blew up.
Yeah, it did. I will grant you that. I was like, well, that doesn't make much sense. But
Yeah.
again, I've given so much leeway with transporters already in this show. Like, Picard walking away as being transported for unknown reasons. He had no reason he had to walk away as the transporter effect came
Well, they
on.
just wanted to show that, wow, that's something they can do now.
You could
although
walk while being transported. You could move while in the transporter buffer.
Yeah.
You want to.
Although here's my problem with that. Even though I didn't have it would make sense to me that because we see the transporters are much faster than they used to be. I'm totally down with that. The fact that you don't have to necessarily be standing still. Okay, I'm okay with that. But if Picard, as they showed, is walking while he's in the act of beaming, and then he materializes on this elevated platform, wouldn't he then immediately step off the platform and fall on his ass?
Well, you see, the transporter knows that you don't want to be moving once it beams you in place. So I guess it probably prompts you as you're in the buffer to please stop walking.
So, Birdo Prey 5, official writer for Star Trek Picard.
I want to see what Barclay thinks of the new transporters. He probably improved them. He probably put in music and stuff, like elevator music as you're being transported, make it a more comfortable transition.
Mr. Mouse has found it interesting the find out the Romulans had no clue where the androids came from. Well, here's the thing. They established that, and I actually didn't catch it the first time until I was doing my Everything Wrong With video. The fact that the Romulans the reason they were going after Dodge in the first place was to try and find out where all the others are. So apparently
there's more.
Yeah, apparently there's a bunch of these
I'd bet money Girardi's one of them.
You think so?
She's something. There's something off. It would make sense if she was one of them.
You just think she's hot.
I do. Apparently she's a drummer for some band, which I gotta say knocks her down a couple, but...
Oh, come on, you'd like her to be drumming on you, right?
Captain Cat says, I hope Bird of Prey continues with the separate scores. I'm gonna have to decide that in the next few hours, Captain Trek. And Surf says, Neelix is on the Avenue 5 ship. Yes, he is, and he's probably the best character on that show.
Dot Dealer's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Also, Picard called for beam out, but never said 2 to beam out. How did they lock onto Elmer?
Yeah,
I actually had a problem with that. Yeah,
that one annoyed me. I was like, he doesn't say. He's got to say 2 to beam up, but they had to cut it. I don't know.
Yeah, that will definitely be on my Everything Wrong With this episode. Because he absolutely should have said 2 to beam up instead of just no, and then they beam them both up because they just knew. They did mention there's a nest. I don't remember the nest. Do you?
I remember somebody saying there could be a nest of these things or something to that effect. Which means then if it's each pair takes one positron. Or positronic neuron, whatever the hell.
Yeah, positronic neuron.
They must have got hundreds of them. I don't know.
Well, they could have hundreds. I mean, actually, they don't even. It's not like they never say that the positronic neuron is destroyed in the cloning process. So they could just be making. There could be 1 million Dodges out there.
Oh, you think that? Oh, I would have thought that they had to use one up to make the pair, but I guess you're right.
Well, we don't know. I
guess they could just replicate them after that. But I'm kind of curious as to why Dodge, Soji did get sent to that Borg cube.
I'm still wondering, how did she get there?
Well, obviously somebody just dropped her off.
No, I don't mean physically. How did she get there? I mean, how did she get clearance? How did she get a job there?
Bruce Maddox is the best hacker in the galaxy, apparently.
Oh, that must be it. Daniel says it would be a great idea, and I have this idea for a new Trek series post-Voyager show, and maybe they will do this in Picard, and maybe the Terran Empire is infiltrating the Federation and corrupting. That's a horrible idea, Daniel. Don't get me wrong, love you, man, but that's a horrible idea. Because and you think that there's backlash now about Starfleet not being Starfleet? If you do an entire series just about Starfleet corruption, yeah, that's not good.
I was thinking the other day, it's like they go out of their way to put women in charge, to show women in charge because it's 2020.
Right.
But then they make the Federation, Starfleet, criminal.
Because that's what happens when you put the women in charge.
I mean, that's not doing any service to women. You're having Starfleet fall apart, and Starfleet is being run by women. That's too antithetical. Antithetical.
But you see, that's what you're missing, Bird. It's really
two incompatible goals.
That's where you're missing the point. Is that it's actually this is a pro-patriarchy film or series because they're going to show that when they put women in charge, how everything falls apart.
And it's honestly what they're doing. I don't know if they noticed it yet, but it is.
No, I don't think they noticed it. Well, just like I don't think they realize how they're making Picard into a self-righteous a-hole. But I kind of dig the way that that's happening, and we'll see where they go with it.
I want to know where he's got the cash from.
Yeah, I know.
And the other thing is, if the ship didn't have to go through this thing, why did they need clearance if they just were going to beam through the shield?
Because you needed to have clearance to use your transporters.
No, they said if you don't have clearance, you get shot. That you get auto killed or something like that.
And that's another weird thing is because they got clearance because they got permission to beam Picard down, right?
Right.
But then when they start engaging this Romulan bird of prey, yes, it's a bird of prey. Yes, you can suck on that, Darren.
Just call Central Command; they'll let me in.
Right. Well, I did like that little bit of Picard arrogance shot down. But what I was going to say is when they got close to the defense field, it started shooting at them.
Yeah.
So if they got clearance, why is it shooting at them?
Well, wasn't that at the end that they started shooting at them?
Well, during the battle.
Well, yeah, but that warlord is in charge of everything, and
maybe
somebody said, "Well, now shoot at the ship," and so they did.
True. Surf says something's going to go massively wrong on the Borg cube. That makes sense, I guess. Could be. Fandom Menace is in the house. Says if they were going to torture Daj or whatever her name is, if they did take her or whatever they were taking her, wouldn't she just activate and escape anyway every time? Just a thought. Well, that's why they were trying to subdue her. He
planted a seed of doubt.
Yeah, they sucked. Well, they're not Daj, not her, but Daj, the first one.
Daj, yeah.
He's talking about like if they were successful at the kidnapping, wouldn't she just activate and escape? But they were trying to subdue her. They just screwed it all up.
I think there was special tech in that black bag they put over her head that was supposed to prevent her from activating, but probably the batteries weren't charged.
They mentioned that the android has fully realized backstory on the only thing that she didn't do was adjust the attendance records to show she were turning up to classes.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm saying like what? Well, I guess I need more information on what the structure of how do you get a job on that Borg cube.
You have to apply. They said that, I don't know if they said this in the episode or in the side extra clips that are on CBS All Access, but they said that this is like an international research station. Scientists from all over the galaxy apply to work there.
Except all we see are Romulans and Borg.
And humans.
A human.
And Trill. She had that Trill.
Was the Trill
friend.
on the cube?
The Trill was on the cube.
Okay.
She was the one in the orange, who was African American, but Trill, so you couldn't see her spots, but she had them.
That's racist, Bird.
I'm just saying you couldn't see her spots. It was a bad choice to make a black woman a Trill.
See,
like you had to really know what the hell
Bird,
Trill
just
was
going down the race hate
to see the spots.
Death Dealer says, "Why would the Terran Empire invade? It doesn't exist anymore. If you watch Deep Space Nine, it's yeah, that's true. So there goes Daniel's idea. With 7 of 9 following them is what I think. We'll probably find out. Yeah, I don't know. How do you think 7 got there?
I would guess that she probably got contacted. They were there by the same, whatever told that Romulan ship to come she was there because Picard mentioned what is it, the Fen Rye or something used to control that area. The Ferris Rangers.
Yeah, who the hell are they?
Yeah, well, they're
are they in the comic books?
A Ferris Ranger.
Are the Ferris Rangers in the comics?
No.
Okay.
No, but they mention them in one of these, extra features somewhere.
Well, I don't care about extra features. I want to know, are they established in canon anywhere?
Well, they will be.
Well, I know they will be, but do we know anything about them?
Yes. We know 7 of 9 works with them.
Yeah, okay.
I believe that they are Romulan, peacekeepers. They almost sounded like, I thought they were going to say these nuns were Ferris Rangers, but then they turned out to be something else.
And Thomas,
I guess if you're a man, but you want to become a nun, you become a Ferris Ranger.
Gotcha. Thomas says, I'm back. Did you answer my question about Picard removing the Romulan only sign? Yes? No, actually, I missed the question. What was it?
What was the question?
Yeah.
Would he do it?
Yeah. Daniel says, if you make a post-Nemesis show in the 25th century, you can make a show where the mirror universe infiltrates the Federation and corrupts it like... Daniel, first of all, we're watching a post-Nemesis show. We are watching the post-Nemesis show. There's not going to be another post-Nemesis show, for at least not right now. They should have given her white spots. That actually could have looked interesting. 7 was running away from Alexander. Best comment ever, Thomas. I think you're right. Daniel,
Romulan peacemaking extremist, that's for Thomas.
Well, that's the thing. Where are the Vulcan logic extremists? That's what we need.
Well, Picard was just so angry that, the seed he planted on that planet didn't turn out what he hoped. And it's the Federation's fault.
Right. It's the Federation's fault that Picard abandoned them. Right? It's the Federation's fault that Picard...
They didn't do more to move the Romulans. I guess that was a temporary planet.
Right, but it's Starfleet's fault that Picard didn't talk to Rafi for 14 years, right?
No, I don't think anybody said that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. Picard is just playing the blame game. He wants to blame Starfleet for everything that he was involved in. You know what? If Picard wants to point the blame at anybody, he needs to point it at himself because he quit knowing that they were going to just leave those people there to rot if he didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, that is true. Ravi did well, then we'll do it on our own. And he's like, nah.
Yeah, he said, "Screw it, I
time
quit."
To retire.
Yeah, it is his fault, and so I'm sure they're going to try to write it so that it is all Starfleet's fault and Picard is wonderful and all that. But honestly, it is his fault.
I mean, I guess he could have got a ship and gone there and well, shit, guys, I'm sorry. I mean, I can take a couple hundred of you to my vineyard, but that's about it.
Right. Okay, so there's
any of you know how to grow grapes?
Yeah, there's Tom. Yeah, you see, he's going to have a few thousand more slaves, 250,000 of them actually. Thomas says, "Do you like Picard removing the sign, or was it a stupid thing to do?" I think it was a stupid thing to do, but I did not think it was out of character for Picard to want to tear down barriers like that.
Yeah, I think it was keeping with his character. But...
Right, it was a stupid thing for him to do, but it was a Picard thing to do. If that makes sense.
Oh, also, he did successfully defend the first attack from that Romulan.
Yes, which I thought was ludicrous.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, they should not have...
He should have broken his arm.
Honestly, that just one quick edit, Mr. Miles could fix that scene in a heartbeat, because all you have to do is basically make it so that, as soon as you hand him the sword, he throws it down.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell... I mean, a Romulan has 3 times a normal, fit human's strength. And Picard is a feeble old man. One slice of that sword and Picard's arm would have come off. So, yeah, that's stupid. I read that Picard would be the first post-Romulus show. Well, yeah, it is. Not sure what your point is. Marlena says, how was it? Well, both me and Bird liked it. Bird gave it a little better score than I did. But then Bird is kind of qualifying his score that he doesn't think it's Star Trek. And so that's why his score is probably higher than mine, because he's just... basically accepting of many of the problems that are inherent to it being a Star Trek series, like the contemporary language and canonical problems. Whereas I dragged the score down a little bit because of that, because I refused to let go of that.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, Marlena.
He is.
It
He
tastes
said
good.
it. Remember, and remember to tell the Kurogans to chomp down on their victory pill. Is that what you call it?
No. Nobody should chop down on that pill yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay. Nathan says, I just want to know what happened to Cardassia. Did the Union rise again? Did Garrick take over? I just want to know what happened to the Cardassians. Well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. I don't think, from what we've gotten here, I don't think we're going to see the Cardassians in this season. But who knows what they're going to do.
We saw Cardassians in the preview for Discovery Season 3. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to talk about what happened to Cardassia 800 years ago, but...
Right. But I'm talking about, like, I would be interested to see, like, if Picard continues to do well-ish as a Trek show, then I wouldn't mind seeing spin-off shows that take place in the same time frame. And I would rather see more shows in this time frame than to do shows back pre-TOS, because even though I would personally rather see stuff that took place in the pre-TOS era, but only if it looked like this Romulan ship here, only if it actually looked like TOS era stuff. Redesigning everything to look like it belongs in this time frame and then saying it's 11 years before the original series, no, screw that noise. I don't want to hear that.
Okay, question. In the coming attraction scenes, we see a guy get poisoned or something and fall over. Do you remember that scene?
No, but let me see.
Yeah,
I hate to get rid of the shot of the Romulan because it's such a nice looking shot, but let's see. All right, so...
It was towards the beginning of next week.
All right, well, the credits are rolling. I don't know if you can see my screen or not. Come on.
Well, because Discovery Season 3 takes place 900 years in the future, MLP Death Dealer 32.
I didn't.
So all the aliens are together.
Oh yeah, in the dystopian future or whatever. Okay, are the previews before the credits? Because I'm not seeing it.
No, they're before the credits.
Oh, okay, so that's my problem. Go back a little bit.
Did that say Weed Road?
I wasn't paying attention. Stop. There's a lot of credits. All right.
Oh, Laughable Larry says he missed his donation.
Oh, did I? I'm so sorry, Laughable
I
Larry.
saw something come up on the screen. I think it was a Streamlabs donation.
Oh, okay. That's my bad. Because the sound doesn't work.
Sorry about that, Laughable. It's my fault.
Laughable Larry did put in $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, why did Starfleet abandon the Romulans when they were
big... You might want to stop that video. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry.
Why did Starfleet abandon the Romulans when they were a big part of the reason they won the Dominion War? Weren't they allies at this point? Great question. The answer is yes, the Romulans were temporary allies with the Federation during the Dominion War. However, sometime probably because of the coup that took place in Star Trek Nemesis, that fell apart. What do you think?
Well, at the end of Nemesis, wasn't Riker going to Romulus?
Yes,
for
but
potential peacekeeping.
But my point, as far as Nemesis is concerned, and I think that something that people forget is, all right. So here,
I don't think the Romulans were going to be allies after the war. I think it was just they weren't going to go be all kumbaya.
But even if they were going to be allies. If you look at Nemesis, the entire Romulan Senate was wiped out, right? And Shinzon did a military coup. Then Shinzon was killed by the Enterprise, and what's her name? Apparently a couple of military leaders invited them to come for peace talks. But the Romulan government had not been reasserted yet. And so it makes perfect sense that after the Shinzon incident that the Romulans became a little protectionist, and they elected a bunch of senators and got a new praetor that was into closed borders and said, screw you, Federation, we don't want anything to do with it.
What's that you said? You said the Romulans elected new senators?
It's possible. Or we had a new dictator rise to power.
So they were Democratic.
No, I'm saying that
Republican.
I'm saying possibilities, Bird. I'm saying that either they elected a more isolationist government, or a new praetor or military leader came to power that basically wanted to be isolationist,
which is, to be honest, to be expected.
Right. I don't see a problem with that.
Okay, so I think it's either a couple seconds before or a couple seconds after.
Well, that
Jerry
helps.
Ryan.
All right, so let's see. There's Picard with the eye patch. There's the shot of Canto bite. What do you think of the angel wings there?
Oh,
you know what that looks like? To me, that looks like this is a video game world. This is freaking World of Warcraft or Diablo 3, where, hey, look, guys, I unlocked the angel wings.
It does kind of look like it. Have you ever seen Ready Player One?
Yes, kind of looks like that.
Yeah, it does.
So let's see. There's the Thing from Fantastic Four. We were wondering what happened to him. So, do we need to go back, or?
I would start from the very beginning of the preview.
And there's Pirate Picard.
The crystal glass breaks, then you see him.
Mom Prey saying the crystal glass breaks, then you see this guy fall over on the floor.
So it's So we see them getting ready. We got the pimp outfit. We got Picard in his pirate costume, which, yeah, looks...
It's before the pimp outfit. It's before all this. I understand I'm like 10 seconds behind what you're,
right,
when I'm talking. So, but I hear your audio. It's before the pimp outfit. I know that.
Hey, CBS likes to freeze up for some reason. Do you have that problem?
No, I watch it on my television. It seems to work okay.
Right. Must be the PC interface.
I watch it on my Amazon Fire TV.
Gotcha. So now it's frozen, so we'll see if we can get it to work here. We're stuck on the pimp outfit. That is the dumbest looking pimp outfit ever, because first of all, if you're going to wear this green coat, a green fur, you're going to put on a freaking green hat. Why is he wearing a green coat, a green fur, and an orange hat? How does that make any sense?
You want to stick out. You want to be seen. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but does that outfit make sense? Would you wear that outfit? Well, never mind. You probably
If I was
would.
pretending to be a pimp, I might.
No, I think you'd wear it anyway.
Well, I'll be honest. I've been known to wear loud colors when I could walk. Yes. And
Daniel says, I saw your wonderful Romulus Supernova vid explaining how it works. You're brilliant. No, I'm not brilliant at all. Dr. Alex gets all the credit. All I did was ask him to explain it. Did you see the video yet?
I saw the video. What, Dr. Alex explains the supernova? Of course. I have the most replied to comment in that thread.
Oh, that's right, because you're a dick. I forgot about that.
I was the first one to move the goalpost.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Congratulations, Bert. At least you admit it. Yeah, we need a referee on the field. Moving the goalpost, bird of prey, 5 yards.
I mean, I did it only because it was the next obvious question.
Right. Gosh, this
and
is really
Dr. Alex did confirm I was right, so I kind of...
Well, it's the idea is that like it would affect a 50 light year radius, but it would take 50 years. But did you see my live stream that I did today or yesterday?
Yesterday, I guess I did.
Well, I think you were there for part of it.
Very rare I miss a live stream unless it's been copyrighted.
Did you see when we did the math on it?
Yes, okay. You did. It would
take the entire Romulan fleet, assuming the Romulans had 25,000 ships, which is what
which seemed a little high.
Yeah, but assuming the Romulans had 25,000 ships, it would take 7 years to evacuate one planet. And so for every planet they have in the Romulan Empire, 7 years with the entire fleet working to evacuate that planet.
I don't know if you can see it, but I just sent the screenshot of the guy I was talking about.
Okay, and what's the point of this dude again?
I have no idea. We don't know who he is or why, but he
looks
fell
like he's the
over
most
dead.
interesting man in the world.
That's what Mamo Frey said. It looks like the guy from the beer commercial. Now, the only thing that gets me interested is because the most interesting man in the world. That's exactly what they said. They said we need to find Bruce Maddox, and that's when this guy collapses. So usually when they do that, that's saying that this is Bruce Maddox.
Yes, but here's the thing. Just because he's collapsed doesn't mean he's dead.
I know. He could have just been, tranquilized or something.
Right.
But if that is Bruce Maddox, then it's a different actor.
Yeah, that would be a shame because they should get the same guy.
Yeah, I looked at his IMDb. It doesn't seem like he acts a lot, but he does still act, it seems. So maybe he was just an asshole. I don't know.
Death Dealer says, these people are incapable of writing decent stories. We can make a better script. Here's the thing, Death Dealer. So far, I'm not opposed to the story, but I don't like the dialogue.
I like the story. I just think it could have been written better.
Yeah.
And with a few little changes.
Right. And that's the thing.
That would have gone a long way.
Right. So, and I know a lot of people, because, and I'm not accusing you of anything, Death Dealer. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the discussions that I've been having about this is people confuse the idea of story with just general writing. And I do agree that the general writing, like this writer's room, does not know how to write Star Trek, but the story is interesting. It's just that they don't understand the dialogue of Trek. They really don't. And that's why we've had 2 F-bombs so far in the series and all that.
Like, I would have, just as a for instance, I would have cut the ties to Data's and his neural net. That, Synths got banned because there was an attack, and Bruce Maddox had been working on his whole life, and he didn't like it, so he went rogue, and he's somewhere creating synths, and he's still working. He was so close to getting a Data that he's still working on it. Doesn't have anything to do with Data's actual, neurons. That was stupid.
Right.
But the fact that Bruce Maddox is still out there and still working on creating better synths, that's okay with me. That's fine. I don't think the plot loses anything to not have a direct connection to Data.
No, I agree. Well, and the thing is, we knew that Maddox was working with, he had Law's body. And
Data told him to keep it up. He said,
listen, Data was encouraging him at the end of Measure of a Man.
And they left as friends. So, Data could have, sent him, as soon as they found B4, Data could have sent him a whole bunch of info on B4.
Right.
Before he got killed. Who knows?
Right. Nathan says, I always assumed the Alpha Quadrant had mad situation going on with fleet size, so I assume the Romulan fleet was around half to 2/3 the size of the Federation fleet. Well, I do think the Federation fleet outnumbers the Romulan fleet by a significant margin, because if they didn't, the Romulans would just curb stomp the Federation, because the Romulans, their ships are far more advanced as far as warships are concerned, at least during the next-gen era.
Well, in the Orville, we know there's 3,000 ships in the fleet. So I would say that's about right for TNG.
Yeah. Surf said, whoever said the Romulan Star Empire ships added 2 extra zeros, more like 250 to Derek cruisers. I would tend to agree. People don't, people think that, they have, 100 million ships, right, or whatever. And without taking into account that, if you look at the United States Navy today, and the United States is the single most powerful nation on the planet, and we have less than 1,000 ships in our Navy.
I hate saying this, but once in a while, I do start to think you are more correct, Anti-Trekker, than I was in the size of the Romulan Star Empire. I think it was a lot smaller than we took it to be. I think the Romulans did a really good job of convincing everyone that they were a bigger empire than they actually were.
Well, and I'll tell you, Thomas actually sent me this, and I used this a little bit when I was working on that video with Dr. Alex. This is the closest thing you're going to get to canonical information on the Romulan Empire. This is from the official stellar cartography maps that you can purchase. I don't know, and I know there's a delay, so you won't see it for like 10 seconds as I'm trying to unfold this map without doing any damage to it.
The Fed Doc dropped a super chat there, and he's leaving.
Oh, okay.
So maybe just say
so
hi
Fed
to him.
Doc put $10 Australian dollars. Hey, are you gonna give us an Australian accent for him?
Oi, Fed Doc, I'm a fellow Aussie.
Because you like the dingoes, right?
We like the dingoes, and we fight with the roos, and now he's never going to super chat you again.
All right, so Fed Doc says, Christ on a bike, 3 weeks of rain down here, and I come here to see a live stream with you lads, dropping a bit of cash for you. Pardon if I don't stay, since I want to avoid spoilers. All right, Fed Doc, thank you so much, my friend. I do appreciate it. And so does Australian O'Prey.
Aussie O'Prey.
Aussie O'Prey. So, I'm holding up, and I know that because it's partially green, it's kind of semi-transparent, but I'm holding up the official map of the Romulan Star Empire.
That's a fancy map you got there.
Yeah, it's very nice, actually. Thank you, Thomas. And you can see those triangles around those are the actual outposts that the Romulans attacked in Balance of Terror.
Right.
And so it is, I mean, looking at this map, the entire Romulan Star Empire is definitely much, much smaller than most people imagine. It's maybe 20 systems. Maybe. And
the Fed Doc says, he ain't bad. Sounds like a bad broad accent.
well, he likes your accent.
Or a promy trying to sound Aussie.
Well,
I don't even know what a promy is.
I had no idea. I guess that's an Australian term for something.
Gotta Google it.
But no, thank you to Thomas Potts if you're still here for that map. And
a British person.
Oh, okay. Is that so? A promy is a British person trying to be an Aussie.
So Dr. Alex, if Dr. Alex was trying to pretend to be Australian.
Oh, Dr. Alex, he sounds way too proper English to sound Australian.
Welcome, Thomas. Yes, you're here.
And thank you, Fed Doc, for clearing that up, and thank you for your super chat, man. I do appreciate it. But yeah, go away now. Go away now, as the Critical Drinker would say, because I don't want you to get any spoilers if you're looking forward to watching the show. And this episode is definitely worth watching without spoilers. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I will definitely not say what happens at the end.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't want.
But
spoilers.
there is an end.
Well, every episode has an end.
Yes, and a beginning.
And the middle. What's up with the lazy tactical Spanish hollow? I don't know. That was kind of funny to me.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, really, you're going to program a lazy hologram? What is? I mean,
that's too difficult. What do you say? Something was too hard.
Yeah,
that's not going to be easy.
Although there's there is some precedence for. I mean, look at C-3PO, right? C-3PO was a lazy droid.
Bots,
lazy robots, and robots are like holograms.
Well, there's Hedonism Bot. I mean, that predated.
Oh my! Yeah, isn't Hedonism Bot a Kurogan droid?
You're already trying to get up a picture to put my face on him, aren't you?
I'm actually just bringing up a picture. So if anybody that doesn't know who Hedonism Bot, look at that. That really is Bird of Prey.
Too small to see. Okay.
Look at that. That's Bird of Prey 5 is.
It's kind of the pose I'm in right now, except I don't have the grapes.
Yeah. So that's great. I did not ever think of that.
It just crossed my mind.
Oh,
man. Not that I've been holding on to that. I just thought of it.
Bird, I'm telling you, you got to do something with that, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, even the shape of his head is similar to you.
Like a pug?
Yeah. Bot o' Prey.
Captain Shrek, I'm sorry he ignores you when I'm on.
I didn't. You know what? And I apologize to everybody in the chat. The reason that I'm
Laughable Larry, I think, did another donation.
He did. Thank you, Laughable Larry. $5 says, bad writing or not, I'm still enjoying the series much more than Discovery. Oh, agreed.
100 times more, 1,000, a billion,
Yeah.
infinitely more than Discovery. Because Discovery I did not enjoy. This is still a show I look forward to each and every week.
Yeah, I was actually, despite I only got like 3 hours of sleep because I went to bed at like 10 o'clock, got up at 1 o'clock to watch the show, and I don't regret it. I'm really enjoying the show. So I have no problem with it whatsoever. Plus, we now know that Bird O' Prey 5 is hedonism bot. That alone makes it worth everything.
See, I would have preferred to be the mob bot, but
you have to admit you have to admit hedonism bot. That's you. And so let's see if we can fix this here.
He's gonna put hedonism bot up.
Of course, because it's you. I mean, you should be proud. Embrace your hedon. It's not, and that's the funny thing. You say Kurogan experiment. No, it's not a Kurogan experiment. It's a perfect duplicate of you. And you know it. Admit it.
Thomas says future super chat. Oh, the fact that I'm hedonism bot.
There we go.
I thought he meant he was going to put in a future super chat.
Yeah, that's what I thought it too when I first. There we go. So we got
there I am. Yeah. It's not too far off.
That's too funny. Oh man. Wait, now we need to.
I gotta get those leaves for the side of my head.
Do me a favor. Keep an eye on the chat for just a minute while I'm doing this.
Free Auntie. Yes, free Auntie.
Auntie is perfect. Look at Auntie is diligently sleeping.
Oh, Auntie's actually. You have Auntie up. Oh, very cool.
Yes, I did bring Auntie.
You pulled
upstairs.
Auntie upstairs.
She when I walked through the living room to come upstairs, she poked her head up out of her bed, and I said, "You want to come upstairs?" And she followed me up. So,
Trek reviewer says, "Anti-Trekker, that hologram might be lazy, but I think it will do more in this episode than Tasha did in season 1 of TNG."
Yeah, can't argue with that.
For Tasha, rip Tasha Yar.
Yeah, but
Alexander Reynolds says, "I remember the guy in Ocarina of Time."
Who? What?
I don't know. Mercer says, "I have a friend in a nursing home. His health is getting worse." I'm so sorry, Mercer. Man.
That sucks.
I've been in those nursing homes. They're not happy places.
There. How's that, Bird?
Bird O' Prey 5 on the phone. Okay. Sure.
So, yeah, that's. I tell you that is amazing. That is truly amazing. And Captain Cat says, "Enter Bird of Prey. Scroll back and reach Thomas's remark about the supernova." Thomas said, "Future super chat."
Anti-Trekker, did you notice the Romulan supernova happened sometime before the attack on Mars?
Yes.
Yes,
sorry.
That was necessary.
Yeah, they make it clear that in...
No. Wait, no, that can't be right. The supernova has to happen after the attack on Mars.
Why?
Because after the supernova, there's not going to be anybody left to save.
Well, no, but actually, it does make sense if you consider what we talked about on the stream yesterday as far as the expansion rate of the supernova.
So now we're saying the supernova is just moving at light speed or sublight speed?
Well, that would make sense, is that you would have, I mean, because Starfleet was already mobilizing to get survivors before the rest.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Thomas, we don't know that the supernova happened. The only thing that happened is that they'd already started removing people. There was nothing to prove that the supernova had happened already. And that's an important point. Yeah, they knew the supernova was going to happen at some point soon. And in the comic, it happens a year before they thought it was going to happen. So they were already evacuating people for many years before the fleet was going to be ready. But that fleet was not going to be. The fleet was supposed to be ready. The supernova had not happened yet. I'll rewatch the episode, but I am 99.9% sure that the order is the evacuation begins, the synths attack Mars, and then the supernova happens.
Why do you say supernova?
What the hell would I say? It's a supernova.
Right, supernova, not supernover.
You gonna get on me about Marquis and Maquis?
I didn't say anything about the Maquis. I did not say anything about the Maquis.
Yesterday on my DS9 stream, everybody gets on me because I say Marquis.
Yeah, it's Maquis
instead of Maquis. But then when I say Mario instead of Mario, they get pissed too. They need to make up their mind.
It's Mario.
Mario. The name is Mario.
The proper Italian name, baby, Mario. But that character's name is Mario.
And that organization's name is the Marquis.
No, it's not.
Surf Trictronic says Supernova 2387, Attack on Mars 2385. That would make sense.
So the supernova actually occurred 2 years later.
I mean, it could be a year and a month, but yeah, it happens after. I don't know where you got those dates from, but since I like them, I'm going to just agree, Surf.
Daniel remembers Hedonism Bot. That is no longer Hedonism Bot. That is Bird Bot. Well, it's just Bird Opre 5, actually. So Hedonism Bot is... See, here's what's going on, is that Hedonism Bot is actually... after Bird dies, they're going to remove his brain, stick him in a robot, and you got Hedonism Bot. So is it data or data?
It's data.
Right. So how come you can pronounce that?
Because everybody pronounces it data.
But the word is data, isn't it?
No, I've always pronounced it data. Going back years and years and years. Before Star Trek The Next Generation was even on TV, I pronounced it data.
Bird of Prey.
I know there's some people who pronounce it data. They were wrong. It's like people who call GIFs.
Yeah, I still get confused on the GIFs thing.
I don't think there's a right answer.
Yeah, it looks like GIFs, but people say GIFs. I'm so confused. Captain Cat says Bird of Prey, Anti-Tracker, Bird of Prey 5 will put you on his list. Am I on your list?
You're on several lists, mostly Mamo Prey lists.
Who?
Anti-Tracker. Yeah. And she says she wants to know how your arthritis is.
How's my arthritis? It sucks.
What was your follow-up, Mom?
These gloves are wonderful.
Oh, she's saying she's still talking about how good her gloves are.
I tried. You know what? That's funny. I got those gloves, and I got the largest size they have because I got kind of big hands.
You couldn't fit.
No, I could put them on, but my fingertips turned blue.
Oh, yeah. He got the biggest size they could, but it was cutting off circulation to his fingers. Yeah. Like, well, you either got to decide if you want your hand or your fingertips. You can't have both.
That just sucks. I was actually considering, like for the YouTube thing, because it's getting more difficult for me to do things like write scripts and stuff like that, because typing is really painful. So I'm considering investing in something like Dragon software to do the writing.
That never works.
Well, I'm thinking the new version might be better. I used the old version, and it was like 70% accurate, maybe.
Don't you listen to other things while you're doing this stuff, though? I mean, if you're using Dragon, you can't be doing anything else.
No, I actually don't. When I'm writing, I'm 100% focused on what I'm doing. Okay. Which is probably why my videos are so much better than yours.
That's probably why.
Yeah. Indie Tiger puts $5 in, says unexpected supernovas, another example of climate change due to warp drive.
Okay, so Thomas says, Bird of Prey, I'm going to rewatch, but the Romulans were already on the planet when Picard got the call of the Mars attack. And I understand that, Thomas, but that's because the evacuation started 5+ years before the star goes supernova.
Right.
those Romulans know that Romulus still exists, but they're not. It's not going to for long, so they had to be moved. You can't start the evacuation once it explodes.
Right. Well, not of the home system, at least. Now remember we talked about.
Also, I know you want us. If we go with strict laws of physics, that the supernova is supposed to go light speed at max, but
Well, it'll be exactly light speed because radiation travels at the speed of light.
Yes, but it's not just radiation. That's
Right, but the radiation is what's going to kill them.
Well, let me tell you, people were right. There is different types of radiation. Some radiations are particles, not photons.
True, but
they travel at like 0.99 light speed.
Right, but as far as let's just say that for all practical purposes, if you're 1 light year out, once the explosion happens, you have 1 year to get your ass out of there, or you're dead.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. No point in debating over whether it's 1 year and 10 minutes or 10 minutes less than 1 year, etc.
Well, it's not 10 minutes less than 1 year.
Okay, 1 day. That's the most you're going to get.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter if it's 366 days or 364 days. You got about a year, and you need to get your ass out of there.
Right. So they were moving, and like you did with the math, even with 25,000 ships moving 10,000 people at a time or whatever, you're talking years and years to move an entire planet.
Right.
So they, all these ships were constantly on evacuation duty for many years, and this fleet that was being built was to get the last of the people, but there was still you needed a lot of people. Oh, we also heard the class of vessel. The Wallenberg vessel, and the Nightingale.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I was going to look it up to see if that was anything in Star Trek Online or anything.
I don't know. But I did hear the class name mentioned. But yeah, I think and actually I like the fact that now that we're talking about and thank you again, Dr. Alex, if you ever see that. Now we put aside the whole thing. Yes, a supernova could destroy the Romulan Empire, but it would take years to happen. But now we start looking at the logistics of evacuating entire planets full of people, and that would take years as well. And now it makes sense that while the Starfleet ships could only evacuate 900 million, that's 900 million per round trip. And so it's not like they're going to only get one shot at getting people off the planet. If they have a couple of years to operate, then they're going to go, and I'm sure they have some kind of special mass transporters to try and speed things up. And so those Starfleet ships are going to go in, beam up a buttload of people, get them out to safety, then go back and continue going back and forth until, either the supernova hits that planet or they get everybody off the planet and go to the next one.
Mercer Creates, by the way, just says open Google Docs on your phone, click the microphone, and speak what you want to type. So maybe it has some kind of built-in speech recognition.
I'm sure it does, but at the same time, I'm not. I don't know. Maybe it's just because
it was just something.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. I think Dragon is a better program for that kind of thing because it gives you. If you've never seen Dragon, you cannot. It doesn't just copy what you say, but you can. It actually has commands built in to edit what you have up on the screen, so that you can get rid of typos and add punctuation or delete paragraphs, stuff like that. And yes, Thomas, I have letters coming out of my ear. Those letters say that on the phone is Bird of Prey 5, right underneath a portrait of Bird of Prey 5.
Marlena says, remember using the Spore drive is way cleaner than Warp drive.
That's true.
Might wreck someone's home, though, but who cares? I was thinking that if there was ever a time to break out the Spore drive...
But it's classified.
Yeah, well, just save the Romulans. That would have been the time.
It's classified. Sorry, we don't talk about that.
MPL Death Dealer says the stream just died, but it's working for me. The Nightingale. Yes, that was the ship they were on.
And let me see. I had an error on the stream as well when I looked at it, but yeah, I just clicked refresh and it's back. Let's see. I use Dragon. It's good. Help me with my dissertation. Yeah, and that's the thing, because for me, the arthritis in my fingers is getting pretty bad to where typing is... I mean, using the mouse is difficult enough, and I'm trying to find out... I don't know if you know this, Bird, but do you know of any mice that are designed for people that have mobility issues?
I don't know about mobility issues, but I've got one of those vertical mice, and it's really helped my hands. It used to hurt.
What's a
when I was
vertical
using-
mouse?
It's a mouse that's like taller than it is wider. I mean, I'm sure you must have seen it. If you just go to Amazon and Google vertical mouse.
I'm going to do that right now. I've never heard of that.
The one I use is by Autley, Autley. It's very comfortable.
But yeah, so the mouse is more tolerable than typing, but I can't write a script with the mouse. And so I'm seriously considering something like Dragon to make that work. So you're talking about like the ergonomic design.
I guess that's what it's called. Yeah, I mean there are ones that go up to like $300, but this one was like $20.
I need to find a left-handed one, of course, but
Oh well, good luck.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I haven't seen one quite like that. That's kind of cool.
It looks weird, but I tell you, once you put your hand on
Yeah,
it,
I
it's
could
like,
see how
oh,
that
yeah.
would be much better. I'm gonna. What's the brand of the one you use?
Mine is Autley. Autley? I don't know.
And you say you really like that one.
Oh yeah, I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah. Do you have the wireless one or the wired?
It's wireless.
Okay. How long does the charge last?
Well, you see, the thing is, I don't use the mouse all that often because I use the trackpad on my laptop most of the time. I only use this when I'm gaming.
Mm-hmm.
But it went like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then I charged it. It just uses a micro USB to charge.
Right. And Bradley is saying, I've been doing a lot of research into supernovas, and according to my findings, it takes 800 years for a supernova explosion to travel 40 light years. Here's the interesting thing about that, and that's why, and that's one of the reasons I consulted Dr. Alex on this, is that for the actual nova, I guess the star stuff, if you will, the actual nebula that you see that's
The
left,
matter.
yeah, yes, it would take about 800 years for it to reach 40 light years. However, the deadly levels of radiation would travel out 40 light years in probably about 40 years and a month. And so you would still be dead. You just wouldn't be hit by matter until another 800 years. And so maybe that mouse is why Bird of Prey crashes so much. Oh, yeah, that's kind of... didn't consider that. Yeah, I need to find... So, let me see.
Sharon Moore says, Anti-Tricker and Bird of Prey. What if there was a ship with mass transporters, but they transported planet to other rescue ships? And plus the ship's own transporter should make things much quicker. I was thinking, Sharon Moore, if we really had to evacuate entire planets in the, TNG universe, I would imagine that you would build... not ships, but just like for all practical purposes, large cargo containers that had life support.
Well, that's what you see
that could be
in that.
tractored by Galaxy class ships.
If you look at the, honestly, if you look at the Nightingale fleet, that's exactly what you're seeing, because the Nightingale ships are designed very much like the classic TOS era tugs from the Starfleet Technical Manual.
I'm sorry, are you saying the Nightingale ships were the ones that we saw at Mars?
I assume so.
Oh, I didn't think that, because those ships I didn't think ever got out off the ground.
Well, but is that every one of them that was built?
Well, let's put it this way. Again, in the comics, the Mars attacks happened.
Sorry, you said
What?
Mars attacks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it. The attack happens, it looks like, before the first round of ships gets out. Because Jordy has said that the first round of ships had yet to leave. And then there's the attack. So I don't think any of the Mars ships, any of the special fleet ever made it out of Mars. But I can't, I don't know. That's just what it seems to me. And there's always the possibility a handful of ships survive. But Again, no, because Picard, once the attack happens, Picard never comes back. So the attack stops all of the rescue mission.
Well, they cancel the rescue mission after the attack, but I'm just saying I don't think that it's necessarily true that every one of the ships was destroyed. There could have been a significant number of them that were already built and operational, because you'd have to have prototypes and all that.
You would think. Surf Trictronics says, Bird of Prey, the Romulan star was a hypernova. Blast wave traveled faster than light. And Surf, I understand that, and I understand that was told in the previous 2009 Countdown comics, but in Picard, it's only referred to as a supernova.
And I give credit to that. It seems like Picard is treating the physics a little more realistically. What do you think?
I think they just didn't know what the hell the Hobus was, and they said, well, we can't call it Hobus, we got to call it Romulan.
Wow.
I don't give that much credit that they decided to make the physics better. So Mercer puts in a link to Nightingale ships, and they look like Marquis raiders.
Yeah, I did a quick search for Nightingale, and that's what I came up with, but that's because it says that's an actual ship named the Nightingale.
Well, that's what the Romulan says, was he was on the Nightingale.
Oh, maybe that. So what then? Was the class of ship something different then?
The Wahlberg class.
Okay, let me look that up. That must be what we're thinking. Like Mark Wahlberg?
That's what I thought. Like, it seemed weird. It seemed like a weird designation, but I'm not 100% sure. It was like Wahlberg. I'm not saying it was Wahlberg.
Let me see.
Somebody must know. I
put in Wahlberg class Starship Picard. The first image that comes up is Mark Wahlberg standing in front of Babylon 5.
It was not a quantum nova.
Quantum nova. Should be. But
nobody
anyway,
knows what class ship they mentioned. I guess nobody really watches it.
Yeah, I didn't. That's the thing. When they said it, I was like, "Ooh, what was that?" But I didn't go back and re-listen to it.
Yeah, it was one of the things I was going to write down on the second watch.
But yeah, but that when you see those ships parked over Mars, they look like the classic TOS era tugs. And then, but the cargo containers are these gigantic, basically lifeboats, you know, and that is something. And I see Laughable Larry puts in another donation. Thank you, Laughable Larry, and says, "I love having Bird of Prey 5 on. He's clearly more knowledgeable than Anti-Trekker on all things related to Trek and everything else too."
Did he really say that?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Thank you, Laughable Larry. Kapla, El Karoga. It's okay. It's okay.
That just hurt, man. That cut deep.
It's okay. Let Hedonism Bot take your pain away.
That sounded really bad. I just got to say. Oh man, that just. So I like that. I'm looking at these mice too while we're talking because I'm seriously going to order one of these. And Jarsa puts in $2 Canadian. Can you do a Canadian accent for us, Bird?
Let's see. Canada. Oh yeah, maple syrup and poutine. Yep. Oh, we got lots of beavers up here in the Great White North. Oh, Canada.
Oh,
man. Native land.
So remember,
true north lies.
For your super chat, you can get Bird to imitate any ethnicity, and he will butcher it.
Yes, you want Asian Khan?
Yeah, Bird will do Asian Khan for you if somebody wants to super chat. All right, so Nightingale is the ship Harry Kim captain once. Yes, that's what came up when I searched for the Nightingale. So
was that in a alternate timeline, or what was?
I'm trying to remember. But I do remember that, but I can't remember what it was from.
Okay.
And so Trek Reviewer says, according to Memory Beta, there are 3 ships named Nightingale. One was a Daedalus class. The other was a cargo ship. One was a Nebula class ship. Yep. Have you tried a trackball? Yes, Z. I hate trackballs.
Yeah, I've done trackballs. They look better than they feel.
Yeah.
They work.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And they're not. Yeah, they're not very precise. That's the thing. Like when I'm using a trackball, it's like the mouse pointer's all over the place. It's really hard for me to get exactly what I want. Isn't that an Australian accent? No, Bird.
No, I say poutine and maple syrup, Great White North. So this is Canadian accent, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's clearly Canadian. Which, by the way, was a good drink. Did you ever have Clearly Canadian?
No.
No, it's actually it was a really good drink. And the other connection I could think of was Roxanne Dawson was once a regular on a TV show called named Nightingale. Well, I don't think that has anything to do with it. It was an alien ship he commanded temporarily experimental cloaking device. There you go. So, Dreamer out there
the alien
says,
ship would have a human name.
Yeah. Do you think the writers know what a United Federation planets have colony transport ships? Do I think the writers know that? Well, here's the thing. These ships were designed, colony ships, the Federation does have colony ships, but they're not designed for emergency evacuations. They needed ships that, and the good news is with a supernova situation like this, you can take a couple of years to build the ship, but you need ships that are capable of transporting massive amounts of people as quickly as possible.
And what I do like is that even though they were building a special fleet, they didn't sit on their ass for 3 years while it was being built. They were still evacuating.
Right. Which
people
makes
with the
sense because a
ships
lot
they
of people
had.
were asking, why didn't the Romulan fleet just evacuate everybody? Well,
They probably were.
yeah, they were probably trying to get as many people as they could out of there, but you're also talking about if the Romulans had 25,000 ships, it would take 7 years to evacuate a single planet. So, yeah, they were probably working on it, but they needed the Federation's help. So,
Well, the Romulans didn't think they needed Federation help after the fact.
well, just that one senator.
The Federation took advantage of the Romulans.
That
in
one
their time
senator
of
was
doubt.
kind of a dick about it, though. I mean, let's be real. So, wow, that's a weird-looking mouse. All right, so let's see.
The weirder, the better. That's the rule.
Well, I'm liking some of these. The problem is I'm not sure which ones are the best. I mean, just looking at the ratings, there's a couple that have higher ratings. But looking at, I'm basically looking for left-handed ones. There's not a whole lot of selection for left-handed vertical mice. But I'm gonna try one of these bad boys. Man, thank you for mentioning that, Bird.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate that because I'm hoping that does make a difference for the pain in my hand. The problem is it's still not going to do anything about being able to type, but it'll help.
You have an ergonomic keyboard?
No, you mean one of the ones that's like curved up in the middle? No.
Yeah, I got the
I've
little
used
bump.
those. They don't really do anything for me.
Yeah.
Phantom of Many Topics puts another $2 in and says future evac ships should put people in buffer.
That would be terrible.
Yeah. What happens? You have a power failure on that ship, and all of a sudden,
We just lost 250,000
yeah, that would be bad.
buffers. Buffers empty.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
accidentally formatted the buffer.
Yeah. Or what happens is,
Whoopsie.
"Ooh, gosh, we accidentally mixed up the program, so now Bird materializes and he has boobs or something. That.
You got 250,000 people combined into one super Tuvix.
Oh man. Yeah. Could you see that?
Or you
Tuvix
beam
with
down,
two-
they get duplicated.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Tuvix with 250,000 personalities.
Whoopsie. Hey, now we only need one bed instead of 250,000.
Well, good. Then all is well.
That's what they should do because they have to save room. They should start merging people in transporters.
Just purposely creating Tuvixes.
Yeah, we can't save you all, but we can merge 4 people into one.
So congratulations. Pick who you want to be merged with.
I got to get going, Anti-Tricker. I'll listen in.
All right, my friend. Well, I'm going to be wrapping up in just a minute
Okay.
anyway, so I can get a video going. But thanks for hanging out with me, Bird. It was
No, it's fun.
It was a lot of fun. You want to do that next week if you're...
I will try. I can't promise I'll be up so early.
All right, my friend.
Captain Track says, "Oh my God, stop! What? Stop what?"
Captain Trick says, Bird of Prey, yeah, what? Now you got to know what...
Now I need to know.
Before Picard came out,
merging people into one, 2 Vixes. Yeah. Lol, he's lolling.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you you're either gonna die, or you had to be merged in with your neighbor, what would you choose? Oh, he can't stop laughing. Well, listen, these are things people have to decide.
But you see, here's the so Bird.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. So let's say that our sun was going to go supernova, and so in order to evacuate, you had to do the Tuvix thing. And your only choice was you can either die in the raging fire of the supernova or be merged with Ryan Johnson.
Oh, I would take Ryan Johnson. He'd probably come with a bunch of money and chicks. I would take it.
And Kathleen
and
Kennedy.
then I would destroy Star Wars.
Well, there you go. Bird of Prey officially endorses the destruction of Star Wars.
Come on, I am a Star Trek fan through and through, which means if I ever get the chance to destroy
Kurtzman.
Star Wars, I have to take it.
All right, Kurtzman.
Well, now you're making this hard.
Yes.
I would pay the person off to make sure I'm the dominant personality.
No, it's a 50-50 split.
I'm pretty sure I'm the dominant personality anyway. Kurtzman doesn't. He seems like he would give in to the superior mind.
The superior mind of hedonism bot.
Well, if I was gonna die or have to merge with Kurtzman, I guess I would take the merge.
Well, there you go. Bird of Prey officially endorses.
Only
Kurtzman.
because it's dying in a fire. If it was, dying in my sleep, I would probably take dying in my sleep.
Wow. Okay. So there you go. Bird wants to die in his sleep. You heard it here first.
That's not what I said.
It's exactly what you said.
Now you're making Mama Prey angry. You just got another list.
I'm not. Mama Prey, I love you, and Bird is a great guy, but he did say he wants to die in his sleep. Facts are facts.
I said, given the choice between dying in a fire in my sleep, I would take it in my sleep. That doesn't mean I want to.
I want to see the Bird of Prey Kurtzman hybrid. That would, just
somebody can Photoshop it, I'm sure.
Well, think of the amazing stories that are not Star Trek that would involve ships crashing into things that we would get. That would just be so freaking awesome. All right, Bird, you get out of here, man.
Take care, guys. Kapla. Mout. Indeed. Death to Karoga. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up so I can get a little bit of work done here. Hopefully we can get a video out sometime. Actually, I got a lot to do. So thanks for hanging out with me and Bird, and we will see you guys. If you're up, be sure to check out, I will be on Life with Matthew's stream at 11 o'clock Central Time. So you can if you go to Life with Matthew's channel right now, I think that the stream is already scheduled, so you can actually set a reminder. And let me see if I can get the link for you guys. Helps if I could spell. And I hate that. I try to. There it is. Okay. And you guys need to subscribe to Life with Matthew. The guy's only got 81 subs, and he's a good guy. So check it out. I will be on his channel. Let's see. There we go. So there's the link for the Absolute Candor discussion that's going to be in about 6 hours. Come join us. We'll have some fun there, and definitely subscribe to Life with Matthew. I'm going to actually be putting out a video from Life with Matthew on my channel very soon. So there's that. All right, guys, have a good one, and take care. Jolan True, and all that jazz. If I can find the credits button.
Making your way with the nerds today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the Trekkies know your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Birds of a feather flock together, that's what we believe. We know a place that's got you covered, a place to get relief. Wouldn't you like to say me Pooh? Sometimes you wanna go where Turner-Stanleys know your name, and old Kurogans are to blame. You wanna be where you can see Kuroga go up in flames. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker!